Alright, so first lesson that we have in this chapter is lesson 5-1, and that's going to start on pages 120 and 121 of your student textbook. It's called Factors, Multiples, and Divisibility. And we're going to go over a couple of those words and what they mean here in a second. Before we get started, though, you need to make sure, I know we started this on Friday, if you do not have all of this copied down on here, okay, this entire chart, then you need to get a copy down first and foremost. Alright, the most important thing that we have is that we understand that this right here is the most important thing, okay, because it gives us the rule. These are examples, and is the example of 126 divisible by that? But making sure that we copy down the entire chart, but that we are starting to remember this chart right here. Alright, so I'll get rid of that for us real quick here. So what you need to do is get that copied down, and then when you have that copied down, get this vocabulary word down. A factor is a number that can be multiplied by a whole number to find a product. And we're going to use these divisibility rules right here, right, to find our factors. And I'm going to show you exactly what we mean by that here in a second. Make sure you get that copied down. Alright, and divisibility basically just means, is the number going to come out evenly or not? Right? So, we're going to start with a real easy number, and we're going to say the number 12. And I'm going to change colors here because that's got to be pretty hard to read. So, click the wrong one, sorry. So the number 12. So we want to think if we can list all of the numbers that you can, all the whole numbers you can multiply by each other to get to 12. And there's a real easy way to do this. I always start at 1 times the number. And then I kind of go in order, this way. So 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. And what happens is that if you do these, and this is what we call factor pairs, right? They're pairs of numbers that you can multiply by each other to get this number. Okay, and if you go through the factor pairs, and what you find out is that you've run out of numbers that are left, because 4 would be the next number right here, and then you'd start going back up the other way, then you're done. Okay, so 12 has 3 factor pairs, or 6 factors. 12 has 6 factors. Alright, well, let's try to make this a little bit more difficult. Let's try the number 30. And again, we're going to write them as factor pairs just so that we make sure we get them all. So the number 30, 1 times 30. 2 times 15, 3 times 10, and 5 times 6. And again, 5 lines up right next to 6. So 6 would be the next number that I would write there, but then all of the numbers that I would be writing are going to be smaller, so I should have all of my factors figured out. And again, followed my divisibility rules from the chart, that any number divided is divisible by 1, because it turns into itself. Any number that's even is divisible by 2. And 30 is even. Any number that has all of its digits add up to 3, 6, or 9 is divisible by 3, which that is. Any number that ends in 5 or 0 is divisible by 5. Any number that's divisible by 2 and 3 is divisible by 6. Any number that ends in 0 is divisible by 10. And that's all the rules we have there. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we'll start to notice things like this, okay, that there's not a rule for that per se, but we can figure that out as we move on in the chapter. Alright, so I'm going to give you an example. I want you to try them on your own, so after you write it down here, I want you to pause the video and try doing it on your own. Alright, so the example here is, let's try 48. Okay, so pause the video and write down all the factor pairs that you can think of for 48, and then I'll go through and give you the answers. All right? All right, let's see what you got. So 1 times 48. 48's an even number, so 2 times 24. 3 times, now I know 3 goes in there because 4 plus 8 is 12. I'm going to do a little work here. 4 plus 8 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. I took these digits, added them up, took these digits and added them to figure out if it's divisible by 3, and it is. So 3 times, but I don't know how many times 3 goes into 48, so what do I need to do? I need to divide 48 on the outside, and I'm going to erase this. You should have that, but I'm going to erase this. I don't have a lot of room. 48, 3 goes into 48 once, 3 left over, 18. So 3 times 16. 4 goes in there because we know our divisibility rules that the last 2 digits are divisible. So 4 and 8 are both divisible by 4. We know that's 12. I can see that pretty easily. 5, it does not end in 0, so it's not divisible by 5. It is divisible by 6 because it's divisible by 2 and divisible by 3. So I get 6 times 8. So now I've gotten one number left because I've gotten all the way down this way with my factor pairs, and I'm going to start all the way back up this way. So the only number that's left is between 6 and 8, and that's 7. And we know that 7 is not divisible, or 48 is not divisible by 7. So these right here are my 10 factors of 48. All right, we're going to try one more, and I want you to, again, pause the video and try it, then go from there. $46. So 1 times 46, 2 times 23. 3 does not go in because it doesn't equal, the 4 plus 3 is not equal to 3, 6, or 9. 4 doesn't go in because 4, nope. 5 doesn't end in 0. It's not divisible by 3. It's not divisible by 6. I'd have to know my 7s, and I know it's not divisible by 7. It's not divisible by 8. It's not divisible by 9 or 10. So now I really got to start thinking about things, and if I got to guess and check. All right. Now the things that you want to think of is that you want to start using some estimation ideas here. Okay. If you're trying to figure out if you have all of your factors, think about this. You don't have to use this number to know what factors should fit there. Okay, so now if I was doing 46 and I wasn't sure if I was done, I would try a number really close to 46 just to see what similar factor pairs would look like. So I would try 45. So I would do 1 times 45. There's no 2. 3 times 15. 5 times 9. And notice that then there's no 6, 7, or 8 left before I go back up that way. So I'd be looking for very similar numbers here. So there's no 3, there's no 2. So I would be looking for 6 times a number, and 6 times 8 is 48, so that'd be too big. So I know that there's no 6, and then I know that 7 would be too big. 7 times 5 is 35, 7 times 6 is 42, 7 times 7 is 29, so it's not 7. There's no 4, so I know it's not divisible by 8. And I think after I can go through that by using some similar ideas here, that I would be out of factors. So these 4 would be it. All right, wanted to show you this example here as to how to practice, because not all of our numbers are going to be really easy to figure out here. All right, so the last thing I want you to do is try these 3 on your own, okay, and then I'll just give you the answers at the end. All right, so I want you to find all of the factors for 96. Oops, I need to change pens here, sorry. 100 and 14. Okay, so I want you to try all of those on your own. Pause the video, figure them out. I'll give you the answers here after you push play. All right, good luck. My factors in 96 are going to be 1 times 96, 2 times 48, and again, I would have to divide 2 into 96, 4 times 8, 16, 48. 3, I know that 3 goes into 9 and 3 goes into 6 evenly, so 3 goes into 96 32 times. 4, I Not sure about 4, so what I could do is I could just guess and check. 4 goes into 96 24 times. Okay, because if I wasn't sure, because that rule for 4 isn't really great, especially if we get these bigger numbers. It's not divisible by 5 because it doesn't end in 5 or 0. It is divisible by 6 because it's divisible by 2 and 3, so 6 times 16. Not divisible by 7. Divisible by 8 would be 8 times 12. Not divisible by 9, not divisible by 10, not divisible by 11. I've finished going from this way to this way, and I am done. Alright, so then what we're going to do is we're going to practice what they're looking for us to do with the next one, 100. And now instead of just writing them as factor pairs, I'm going to list them. So I have 1 times 100. Oops, I really messed that up, sorry. So 1 times 100, 2 times 50, not divisible by 3, 4 times 25, not 5 times 20, not divisible by 6, not divisible by 7, not divisible by 8, 9, and then 10 times 10. And you notice if I have numbers that are the same, I've got them all. So I'm going to list them as 1. The factors of 100 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, 25, 50, and 100. And I just basically checked those off in order as I went. And the last one that we need to do is 14. And this one should be pretty straightforward. 1 times 14, 2 times 7, no 3, no 4, no 5, no 6. Oh, back to 7. So I've successfully finished the loop, and I'm good. So the factors of 14 are 1, 2, 7, and 14. All right. So after you get all of these notes copied down and finished, you need to move on to the bookwork. Good luck.